what we've done,
This is narrow gauge, right?
this is narrow gauge. On this layout right here, the engine house
Yeah.
and the station down there with the red roof are the only two things that are kit built on here.
Okay.
The rest of this was built using these two photographs.
Oh, kidding.
That is all there is. That, and
Yeah.
we have a map that gives us the footprint.
Yeah.
We have not built the separator building yet, which is what you see here.
Yeah.
Everything you see on here, our president sat down, looked at this, found something like a window or something that gave us a scale, and he was able to design all this using that.
My goodness.
We had this right here, which gives us the footprint of the building, so we knew what the footprint looked like.
Okay.
The club bought a laser cutter.
Yeah.
We laser cut all these kits.
No kidding.
Basically made all
Well,
these kits
Really accurate then.
out of wood,
Yeah.
and it's clapboard siding.
Yeah.
So and then all these shingles on here
Yeah.
are single rows of paper shingles,
Okay.
laid one at a time, one row at a time.
Yeah.
In the photograph, you'll notice that this little building,
Yeah.
there is a guy on top of it laying shingles. So what we've done, what's happened is that we are recreating Cranberry, North Carolina in 1925. We're in the process of building the general store, which will be here, cold facility here. This is a kit. As you can see, it's fully detailed all the way down to having packages sitting on the shelving inside.
Yeah.
This is a mule barn.
Okay.
We're going to extend this out a little bit because we're going to put a water pump station right here.
Yeah.
That because the Cranberry Creek comes and turns, and there will be a water pump station there. Here comes our train behind us. If you look through here, you'll be able to actually see what it would have been like in 1925 when a train went by, because you can see it right through the windows and everything. Fred also built all of this. If you take that railroad station out right there,
Yeah.
all these other buildings still exist. The measurements for these buildings were taken from the actual building.
Wow.
The buildings are the correct scale. They've just been compressed for the scene a little bit.
Yeah.
This is Shell Creek,
Okay.
just outside of Roan Mountain.
Yeah. Who does all the building? You do it as a
Fred,
team? Huh?
Fred did all this work. He assembled all this. This is all made out of plastic.
Okay.
It's all hand cut. These, like I said, are laser cut out of wood. Now, if you notice, on the back of this train right here, we have a semi-trailer on a flat car. June of 1936, East Tennessee, Western North Carolina was one of the first two railroads in the country ever to put a semi-trailer on a flat car. The Chicago Northwestern was the other. They both did it in June of 1936. Nobody knows for sure who did it first. One of the members of the East Tennessee Model Railroad Society Historical Society built that kit, and he gave it to us because he doesn't model that at home. So he said he wanted to see it running, so we actually went. It doesn't fit our time period, but because it's a special thing, we're going ahead and running it.
Where do the sound effects come from?
They're in the
They're
train.
on train.
They're in the train.
Yeah. If you listen real closely, you'll hear this one popping off a little bit.
What am I listening for?
You hear that? Doo, doo. You hear it any better now?
Yeah.
That's the locomotives. They're under. They've got steam built up, and what you're hearing is the air pumps running. So what these are all these will run. Now this one down here,
Sorry.
I don't think I have any electricity going to it. Or it's not on the track right. Normally, it would be making a sound also.
Yeah.
Take it down a little bit past where I just painted.
What controls your switching?
Right here is a switch machine.
Okay.
Now, if you look right there, you'll see the electronics
Yep.
right there. Our controller, Shane, come here for a second. Let me borrow your controller for a minute. $241. If I take it and I press the switch right there,
Yep.
I enter 241. It's showing that the switch is in the closed position. I hit throw. Watch that switch right there.
Yep. Okay. See what's happening?
Yeah.
So that's having to do either that way or this way.
Mhm.
Yep.
And all of them, we got all of our switches working. We just got to get this one back here running. Then we can actually work the Y up here to turn the locomotive around. Thank you, sir.
Did you see that, Brady?
Well, we can operate 2 locomotives. Here, let me see it again. Grab that stool right there.
It's got this train.
You hear that? It's taking the power off, and what you're hearing is the drivers thumping while it's slowing down. That's what that was. If you grab that stool over there, I'll show you what we're talking about over here. If you want to climb up there, look right in here where the switch is.
Go ahead. Right here, Brady.
Now watch those 2 bars right there.
See the move?
So that way, I don't have to reach down there and throw a switch like I do on my model railroad at home.
Yeah.
I just press the button here. I can't afford this stuff at home, but here at home I have ground throws. I just reach in there and flip this thing and it throws my switch.
Okay.
Just now in Roan Mountain here, the only thing that's really belongs here is the station.
Okay.
These are just stand-ins, but this is what it's going to look like when we're done.
Yeah.
There's the station right there.
Okay.
This is the Roan Mountain Inn, the old famous Roan Mountain Inn.
Yep.
We're building an HO scale, just narrow gauge. We're going to build this in N scale, and we're going to put it up here in forced perspective to make it look like it's farther away.
Okay.
Following around here, we go through Crabtree, which was just a little switching spot where a lot of times they would sit one of the bigger box cars that had.
Excuse me, Greg. Jim and I are going to go to lunch early, so we'll be back. We're needed on the other side.
Okay,
See you in about 45 minutes.
no problem. They would sit here. This was operated by the gentleman who ran this store behind us. And we're going to get to that in a second. White Rock is a water stop over here. Then we come into the Hobson store in Blevins, Tennessee. The gentleman thought that if he built a store and a station, a town would grow. A town never grew. But here's a photograph right here, taken in 1915.
Yep.
And you see the family here,
Yep.
you see the little girl and everything. We've recreated the photograph.
Okay.
Here's why. That little girl, last year when she was 104, gave us a copy of the original photograph, which had everything where we could see the signage.
She
and
was
everything.
104.
She was 104. We recreated the scene. This year, right after she turned 105, she came back and saw this. She asked if that was supposed to be her, and we said yes. We had her in a blue coat, and she goes, "My coat was red." 100 years later, she remembered she had a red coat.
Oh boy.
But I want you to notice a few things. See the cornfield?
Yeah.
Cornfield.
Yeah. Wonderful.
See the mason jug?
Yeah. Oh man, I love that.
See the broken fence?
Yeah. Okay. That must be a really fun part of this.
They
The
give you an
accuracy.
idea. That little girl, before World War II, became a private pilot.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Her dad used to instruct Army flyers on how to fly. He refused to teach her. She went and won a competition, an essay competition, to earn her pilot's license. fly ferry during the war, but she was too short.
Really driven person.
Mm-hmm.
Who makes the model figures?
I believe Chrysler made the. And we
I love
think.
how realistic this is.
How do you want to make it?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. they're over.
That's the inside of the bridge. It was
Company, and
round.
then they go with. Now over here.
It's an outrun down there, but he's not completely finished, but
How found out about this door to nowhere right here?
that's pretty cool. Oh, it's stone. That's real. No, it's not.
Yeah, definitely not completely done.
Now this is tunnel 5, right here. Coming around, then we go into the gorge.
Okay.
I love how realistic this is. It looks really realistic.
Well, if you look at that photograph right there. Stand in front, right behind you. There's a photograph.
Oh, here?
Look at it real well, then turn to your right and look down this way.
Oh yeah.
I see it.
Wow. That's like almost the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's part of the joy of doing this is to make it accurate.
Now, if you look up the river, don't touch the water. What happens is, if you touch the water, it leaves your oils on the water and it turns color, and we can't clean it.
It turns color.
Yeah, after a while, the oils in your fingers will turn. It's a resin that we've poured there. It'll actually turn. But if you look up the river, you'll see that the river turns into a photograph farther up around that curve. Instead of going farther back, there's a photograph up there, and the river runs right into the photograph.
Okay.
Just step up and lean forward over that bench, and then look to your right, and you'll see where. Just follow this section of the river right here, not the one back there, but this first section. We can actually move this sideways. We can get in there a little bit. Oop.
See that?
See where the photograph is?
Yeah, I do see that. Up there.
Yeah.
That's just one trick.
Just blends right in. Yeah.
Come over here, and I'll show you another trick that we've pulled.
I like this stone wall here too. This
Yeah.
is really nice.
Oh yeah, there's a photograph of it right there.
Yeah. Okay.
Now this is the sand tunnel. The original sand tunnel we had here didn't look right, so one of our members has actually walked this recently, photographed it, and he's redoing it.
Okay.
That's the reason we've got that like that.
Tree, a couple of trees falling over the creek.
What else? What do you see right here?
I see a tool or something there.
Well, it's a doe and a fawn
Oh, I see now.
in the Doe River.
My scale is off. I see it now.
Now, if you come over here and you look down this way, what do you see? Look, lean down and look right along this shot, right back into there. What do you see back there?
I see some. Oh, I see. Yeah.
You see a deer and a fawn.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
It's the same deer and fawn.
Really?
That's a mirror back there.
Okay. It's reflecting these two.
Yes.
Look right down there. See a deer and a fawn right there?
He's the doctor of biology here. He's also our president of our club. He did all of this. Now you can look at this right here.
That's realistic.
Was done by another modeler of ours named Bear.
Yeah.
Bear used to work for a gentleman you might have heard of, a guy named Walt Disney.
Yeah.
At Disney World, they have a ride that looks like a mine train. It's a roller coaster.
Yeah, I've been
Bear,
to that.
Bear built the first mock-up model of that.
Yeah.
Those are done with castings. All that over there around that side,
Yeah.
Bear hand carved all of this,
Wow.
including all of this down in here. To give you an idea, if you look right here, there's the original photograph of what it really looks like.
What's the material that he's carving?
Plaster? Looks like this right here.
Okay.
Right here
Yeah, I know, but I didn't.
is this one right here. Here's a photograph of it with the scenery.
Does he start out with just a chunk of plaster and
He
chip away at it?
puts it in there.
Okay.
We had some, if you see this right here, we had strips of foam glued in there.
Yep.
That gave plaster something to grab to.
Yep.
There is no paint on this.
Okay.
He says if you paint it, it will look painted.
Yep.
This is all dyes. This is all powders and dyes.
Okay.
He'll put the powders on there, then he'll come back with water
Right.
and spray it, and then it'll run
That's
and
amazing.
do this.
That is amazing.
He also did that corner down there.
Yep.
Do you have a YouTube channel?
Yeah.
Me too.
A lot of people in Elizabethton say they have the only covered bridge in the area.
Yep.
They had the only pedestrian covered bridge. Here's a photograph of the one of the Tweetsies covered bridges, which is modeled right here.
Where is it?
It was in Hampton. It was in 1954, I believe, was when they had the last running of the Tweetsie in narrow gauge. The farmer who owned the land broke it down and built a barn out of it. So this is fully detailed.
Yep. Andy, it's not impressive. That's just
Yeah, it's whatever they, however they did it, you can see how it fits.
Oh, see, this one is coming.
And this is the Hampton station, which is actually scratch built off the plans. But here's another photograph of Tweetsie coming out of that covered bridge.
Really good right here.
Yeah, that one's really
it's great to have
detailed.
those old photographs, isn't it?
Now these
Have this
photographs,
on my
this photograph, this mine, this
It
company.
was like the
Every once in a while,
It's a little
somebody
road.
comes to me and says, "I got the whole
I had to
photograph,"
fit this.
and it's fun.
actually. That's what it switches.
A lot of this stuff,
And then it goes on back.
valuable going to the
Down
archives
in
for
there.
the university. This is another covered bridge. What's different about this is that this is actually a tilt bridge. It's got side back on it to help support it. It's still classified as a tilt bridge. The tilt highway bridge That was built from 7 drawings and a photograph. That is exact scale. In other words, if you increase that 87 times, it'll fit exactly in where the original was. Bring over to the Tweetsie. Then Andrew.
Bridges all the way back
You all from the Johnson City area?
Oh, the
Are you all from Johnson City area?
Johnson
Have you all been up to Leeton?